One thing you can totally accuse me of is never ever finishing my setup. I've been teasing my setup for a little bit too long, and I do promise to get there at some point, okay? I'm looking for the perfect time and for it to be perfect before I truly show it off. And one of the things I recently came across was actually this very nifty pair of RGB towers from Corsair, and I simply needed to get my hands on them. I don't really have a lot to complain about here in regards to these. So introducing the Corsair iCUE LT100 RGB towers. Let's go ahead and talk about whether or not they are worth it for the price. And let's go ahead and begin with an unboxing. It comes in a pretty small box, and smaller than I expected at least, but upon opening up the lid, you will find the base for both towers right on top. As well as the towers themselves, you're also going to find a power brick, a micro USB cable, and an RGB cable. Oh, and there's a headset mount too, but I won't be needing it, so I'm just going to toss that aside for a bit. The exterior design is actually quite nice, as the towers are quite hefty, as well as the base for each one. And I did expect that, as Corsair does in general make pretty high quality products. They're definitely built incredibly well, as you would usually expect. As for aesthetics, I think that they look super clean and minimalist, and I think that this look works wonders, and especially with the RGB strip going up and down, and depending on which effect you actually have on, this entire package just feels like it's very high quality. And the setup process, as excited as I was to actually get these to work right out of the box, had me go insane. But I will get to that soon. How it's supposed to work is that you actually have the two bases. One of them is going to behave as a host base, and the other merely feeds off of the host. In other words, you're going to have the main base, which has the RGB port and a power connector and a micro USB port, and you should just be able to line up the tower with the pins on the base and use the RGB cable to connect the two towers together, and that's how we transfer data between the two. Now, this is going to be done in order to create the intended effect. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, this was a lot more difficult to get to work than I ever expected, even after downloading the drivers, which was pretty stupid. Which actually brings me directly into the software. You need to download the iCUE software from Corsair's website, which allows you to make sure that you do have a solid connection from the towers to your PC. And you can also customize the effects on each tower and things of the like. It's very simple to use once we can actually get the towers to work, that is. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about performance and talk about how they actually do overall, because when they do start working in tandem, finally, you actually get a very nice light show. I just like to keep the rainbow effect on both, but I will likely change it to something that would match my Nanoleafs at some point. They get incredibly bright and the colors are very nice and saturated, and you can control the speed of the effects as well if you would like. If you just wanted to go super slow or really fast, I like to keep them pretty fast personally. That's just my taste. And in terms of looks, they're certainly a worthy addition to my setup. There's no arguing there. There are also a ton of effects to choose from, so these are highly customizable. Once they start working, they are actually very nice to have and look incredibly sleek on my desk. I'm very happy with them thus far. But getting these to work in the first place was an absolute nightmare, and I did promise that I was actually going to get to this point. Even when I plugged both into their respective sockets and powered them as instructed, either only one of them would turn on at a time, only the base of one would power on, and the software would only recognize one of them instead of the two, or the physical button ignores any commands at all, which, yes, by the way, there is a physical button to manually control these in case you don't want to use software at all with these. But I've experienced too many bugs from the start with these, and after finally somehow managing to get both of them to turn on together, I tried to never touch them again. That was a big pain, and I hope to never go through that again. The setup process was the absolute worst I've ever experienced for any product ever. And how come these don't feature a USB-C port instead of micro USB? For product released in June of this year, 2020, seeing a micro USB port is just really strange. I definitely don't condone that, and I would love to hear an explanation. This isn't the cheapest product either, so USB-C should have been a given here. So yeah, truth be told, there's nothing too special about these. They just look really nice, and that's really all that they're meant to do. Like, you can customize these to change colors based on what software you're currently using, but it's not something I really use all too much. So they really are just eye candy and essentially one configuration. But while it was a little bit pricey and it was a massive pain to set up, I never want to do that again. I haven't had to worry about it since the first time I got them to work properly. If you like how they look, then go ahead and try them out. And since you might get luckier than I did with the setup process, but do consider how they would offer some practicality to your setup. I mostly bought them because sometimes I do like to shoot my B-roll in my bedroom, and having these in the back for B-roll would actually make for some pretty nice looking shots as well. So that is essentially my practical use from these, and well, that's just my take. I like these quite a lot, and I don't think that they're too expensive for what they offer. However, they could certainly be better like any other product. I can still recommend these though. And with that said, if you're interested in purchasing these or in purchasing any other types of smart lights that might enhance your setup overall, I'm going to be leaving reviews to any other smart tiles or smart lighting strips or anything like that that I've reviewed in the past down in the description, as well as affiliate links in case you're interested in purchasing any of these. And I'm going to be leaving links to Luster, as it is a very good tool for additional ways of finding other types of products or other ones that are related to smart lighting that could actually help you out. It's going to scour out the internet to make sure that they can find the best deals for you and the best reviews as well. That said, links to everything down in the description if you end up using any of my links. I do get a small commission that does help me run things a little bit more smoothly around here, so I would appreciate that quite a bit if you were to use those. And also do make sure to follow me on my Twitch so that you can actually see these in action, as I do like to stream every Friday and Saturday, and it's usually around the nighttime, as it is supposed to be a very chill time after a long day of work, and hopefully like you can just stop by, chill, ask me some questions. I would love to have you down there. Links to that in the description, as well as links to my Twitter and my Instagram in case you're interested in staying up to date, the latest and greatest regarding the Tech Summit endeavors. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.